London Business Summit. Akwa Ibom State Government unveils plans to reposition state-owned College of Education to boost productivity. Reporters walk into the old worlds of palm weevil larva, nutrient values and acceptance. Nigeria Senate makes case for tax policy review. Details in just a moment. A very good morning to you and welcome to the news at dawn. I am Ufot Udoke. Now the news in detail. Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Omoeno has invited delegates to the London Political Summit Awards to consider the state as their preferred destination for investment and leisure. Speaking over the weekend at the just concluded summit, Pastor Omoeno highlighted the potentials that abound in the state and his Arise Agenda potentials of economic blueprints, expressing readiness to welcome investors. At the summit, which had former Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Udo Emmanuel, as keynote speaker, Pastor Omoeno explained that programs encapsulated in its blueprints are in line with the Sustainable Development Goals. During the London events, the state government also reached an agreement with the London Bureau of Southwark and Akwa Ibom Indigenes in the United Kingdom on educational and cultural exchange. Though agreements were reached at separate meetings held by the governor with the mayor of Borough of Southwark, Michael Shitu, and some indigenes of Akwa Ibom residents in the United Kingdom. Governor Omoeno also proposed knowledge sharing between teachers and students in both climates. Akwa Ibom State Government has unveiled plans to reposition the State College of Education of Afansid for improved academic performance. Governor Omoeno disclosed this Saturday at the Thanksgiving service of the Provost of the institution, Professor Daniel Udo, held at Kwaibe Church, Afahafion in Seribom local government area. Government House reporter Oturi Malkon has the details.
Pastor Omoeno was represented by the Deputy Governor, Senator Kune Yaranyi, hinted that the state government will work out modalities for serious infrastructural upgrade in the institution, promising to also address other challenges confronting the school. Stressing the importance of education, the governor urged students of the college to remain over-focused on their academics, as apart from aspiring to become great leaders, they also have the responsibility of raising men and women for the society.
The governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Omoeno, holds the education sector very important. That is why it is in the Arise Agenda. Thank God for a man sent to the institution at a time like this. We heard from the families how the place was and how it is today. Our heart desire is that it will get better and better every day.
The governor will rejoice with Professor Daniel Udo on his professorial award, underscored the significance of Thanksgiving, maintaining that for Professor Daniel Udo to acknowledge God in Thanksgiving, it will attract more blessings to himself. He enjoined all and sundry to be diligent in their assigned duties and have a heart of gratitude towards God, as every benevolence flowed from him.
So on behalf of the governor of Akwa Ibom State, permit me to acknowledge the celebrant and his family, Professor Daniel Udo, to thank God for what God has done for you, if not for any other thing, for the air that you breathe.
Preaching on the theme, The Attitude of Praise, Chairman of Conference and General Superintendent of Kwaibu Church, Reverend Ekpedemefa, urged Christians to constantly reverence God if his benevolence to them must be sustained.
I believe we do understand that when you have a challenge, you need God's grace to see you through whatever you have to go through when you have some ambience. He first made an option to love me, and then he added tender mercies.
narrating his odyssey from early childhood education to specialization and elevation to the position of a college provost. Professor Daniel Udo reiterated that his reasons for the Thanksgiving were too many, and thank God for his benevolence, guidance, and love towards him and his family. With gratitude, he acknowledged the contributions of his mentor and former Vice Chancellor, Professor Kana Renisian, towards his steady ascension as an academic, thanking him for his love.
I would have just gone into my bedroom with my wife and then we praise God. But the Bible says, in fact, if you read the New Living Translation, it will say, let the world know what he has done. So we stand out today to let the world know what he has done.
The Thanksgiving gathering had in attendance an expansive array of academic, social and political constructs, as well as family members, traditional rulers, friends, captains of industry, and other high-profile dignitaries. High point was the presentation of gift items to the governor by Professor Udo and the church. AKBC News.
Palm weevil lovers are edible maggots or worms, commonly known in Akwa Ibom as nten. With maggots known to cause breakdown of body system, finding out about popularity, availability, and safety of edible maggots took a poll to our home economies in the following reports.
A maggot is the larva stage of the common fly. They possess soft bodies, no legs, and look a bit like worms. They usually have a head that retracts into the body. The reason they easily burrow through rotting flesh or tissue debris of animal and plants which they feed on. Some maggots are considered harmful to health, while there exists a species in this part of the globe called nten that is edible and thought beneficial to man. Also known as the palm tree weevil larva, it is a great source of protein that is popular anywhere the palm tree is found.
Have you eaten maggots before? I have never eaten maggots. It is not. It is no food. But have you eaten nten before? Yeah. I don't know the name of nten in English. I have not eaten a maggot. Have you eaten nten before? Yes. But nten is not a maggot. So what's nten called in English? I have forgotten the name. I cannot eat a maggot. It's something in the toilet. Have you eaten nten before? Yes. Nten is called in English. I don't know how nten is called in English. I don't know. Yes, nten. Yeah, they go to come back. As far as CBB is concerned, I don't think that we have eaten a maggot. Me, as an individual, since I am a BBO man, I don't think we are eating it, and we will not be eating it. Have you ever eaten nten before? Yes, we have eaten nten. In order somebody for good health, it makes somebody to have a good living. So we have been eating that one. Okay, so what's nten called in English? Well, I did not go far in education, don't know, but I know that be a man like nten. I don't think anybody can now get this environment. Yes, not nten. A maggot is not something to be eaten. Have you eaten nten before? I've not eaten. I have not cooked it before. I only see when I was small. So what's it called in English? Oh yes, I was prepared. I will research it, but I will have known. Maggots. How would I do with maggots? Do you know nten? Are you from Akwa Ibom? No, I'm from Delta State. I need the English name. I don't know the English name. I see I can't come down. But I met nten.
tăng cái tài đan đi tụi in đám này nhiều cọc bây giờ bị đi mua nằm ta mình đi mua nằm ta xuống dân này bọn tôi rồi bà cũng bọn tôi vậy đây bên tuần cái con bà cái là sẽ nhung
Aside Nigeria, it is also found and eaten by the inhabitants of the Amazon forest, Asian countries, Central Africa, Malaysia, Cameroon, Papua New Guinea, and more. Edible worms, as they are called, are a very nutritious delicacy that grows on rotting palm trees after all the palm wine is tapped. Research carried out on the early and late stages of development of edible maggots showed that the larva is a great preserve of protein, lipid, and carbohydrates, and also contains a considerable amount of minerals like potassium, magnesium, manganese, iron, phosphorus, calcium, according to a home economist, Dr. Alice Etuk.
Edible maggot contains protein, high quality protein, first class protein. The health benefits ranges from weight management, weight loss, and maintenance of good weight. Edible maggot lowers calories in someone. Consumption of edible maggot aids fertility because of the folic acid. Edible maggot reduces pains of arthritis. It lowers inflammation. It enhances immune functioning. Very good for brain function. And also aids in bone mineralization.
Other than ten, which is known in Akwa Ibom, it is called Eruru Nza or Akwango by the Igbos, Ikolo, Edon diet, Olu or Okin in South Nigeria, while the West call it Ekuku, Ikba or Awon. The edible maggots can be eaten raw, grilled or fried.
Or for flat or for water or for tendency. And the machine also among the February you would have some quinoa. If you go to Abuja now, you will see there's one woman that used to do it, and when we are in Abuja, we visit the woman and we take it for our judicious meal. And that, why we call it in our language, you call it Uto. I don't know why I'm putting the bad thing is that it's medicinal.
In some cases, it's not possible to see it in our area, even in the villages.
And eat them like snacks and make a good stock, first class stock out of it. And I also remember as a child that when somebody dances very well, they will say, oh, sing so it is very interesting.
Since it belongs to maggot family, is there any side effect in consuming it?
In every advantage, there is always a disadvantage. When there is a merit, there is a demerit. When you are eating edible maggot, you have to prepare it properly. Wash it, clean it, and wash it with salted water. After preparing, cutting out the tail, the head, you have to wash it again, probably with salted water, warm salted water. Some kind of microorganism that follows it. So if you don't prepare it neat properly and cook it very well, you may likely suffer from one infection or the other caused by the consumption of microorganism or virus. So consume edible maggots moderately, but little portion at a time.
If you are brave enough to find Nigerian edible worms for the first time, you might love them. After all, they are one of nature's precious gift. Remember that my respondents say edible maggots is highly nutritious. So look for it and enjoy yourself. Eyagino Paul, KBC News.
The Nigerian Senate has stressed the need to review the tax waiver policy to ensure it aligns with the revenue mobilization drive of governments by making the waiver process more transparent and accountable. This was one of the 28-point communique adopted by the Senate at the end of a two-day retreat facilitated by the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies held at 4 Points by Sheraton Hotel in Ikwarabene. The reports.
Has been known as
say all that. Those who are supposed to say aye, those who are against say nay. The ayes have it.
Arising from the species, paper presentations, technical and interactive sessions, the senators led by the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, observed that the outdated and ambiguous tax revenue collection system offer opportunities for new legislative engagements and review.
I think that what we documented and given to us, we are talking as if we are talking to you, as if you are going to implement. We are the ones to implement. We are to listen to you and get the suggestions and go back and implement. We are the ones who are going to require for public training. We are the ones who are going to set up the review. And when we finish this retreat, we now go, these are all proposals for amendment. So if we keep asking questions, we will no longer come and conduct election.
In the communique presented, the Senate recommended that a bill on tax should be presented as executive bills and not as private member bills. To address exchange rate management issues, challenges of inflation, poverty, and job creation, the Senate said there is need to consider and improve the Emergency Economic Intervention Bill from the executive as a proposed legislation from the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms. The communique also recommended the unbundling of Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to improve its efficiency and effectiveness in the preparation and conduct of elections. The retreat further recommended the introduction of diaspora voting, at least for presidential elections, to enable citizens to vote, especially those at essential service abroad, such as military, paramilitary, and other security personnel abroad, embassy staff, and other citizens. Some serving and former senators gave their perspectives on the retreat, especially the choice of Akwa Ibom State as the preferred destination.
There are a lot of things that we planned, and by the time we go back to the Senate or National Assembly, there are a lot of things that we do in order to enhance the capacity of our legislative activities in the Senate. If we are a legislature and we are designing a law with a particular interest for the advantage of some few and disadvantage of others, and you are also bringing a law to the advantage of your tribesmen, to the advantage of other tribesmen, that cannot be a national law.
I believe that this retreat is good for us to judge on, and I also believe that we shouldn't be having the retreat in Abuja or in Lagos. If we take it outside, like a place like this, you can see that all the senators are participating. Assuming that in a place like Abuja, you won't see anybody, or even in Lagos. So when you're having a retreat, take it to one of the remote states. I'm not saying that here is not developed, but I'm sure you know what I mean. So take it to a place that is not as busy as Lagos or Abuja, where people have other activities. So in all, I think we've done well, and if we continue like this, National Assembly will be a better place.
Yes, sir. Today.
We'll take a break here, and when we return, sights and sounds from 2023 cultural celebration of Tower of Ivory Schools, Nigeria. Fuel subsidy removal, Ministry of Defense flags off enrollment of veterans for palliative. Don't go away. Welcome back. The wife of the Akwa Ibom State Governor, Pastor Patience Umoino, has pledged the current administration's support to people with disabilities. The governor's wife made a pledge at a one-day seminar on enhancing strength through inclusion organized for people with disabilities in Akwa Ibom State. Ayano Paul reports.
Addressing people with disabilities, the governor's wife, Pastor Patience Eno, lauded their support for government over the years and promised them inclusion in the Moinos administration. Represented by the wife of Commissioner for Health, Dr. Rosemary Augustine Omo, the First Lady advised them to see ability in their disabilities, trust God always, and be self-reliant.
Now, for the word inclusion to arise, we cannot talk about inclusion without talking about exclusion. Social exclusion is described as a state in which individuals are unable to participate fully in economic, social, political, and cultural life, as well as the process of living to and sustaining such a state.
The Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Dr. Nedi Akpan, said Governor Moino is interested in welfare of persons with disabilities, as evident in Ubong Ikbe's appointment as personal assistant to the governor on disabilities. The Commissioner, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Margaret Edem, advised persons with disabilities to always unite, have a positive mindset, and support government to succeed.
So I'm here with a warm greeting from our Honorable Commissioner. She has asked me to congratulate you all. She has asked me to give you the assurance that the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Welfare will continue to back these people up.
The resource person, Pastor Francis Akpan, delivered a lecture on the modalities and indicators of social change, while some stakeholders of the disability demographic bared their minds on the event.
Nigeria in 2019 adopted the rights by signing the Nigerian Disability Individual Law. It was like a movement to change the way persons with disabilities were taken.
The aim of this capacity building workshop is to dynamically leverage on the platform that is collaboratable between the government and the disability community.
If the activity will be dealt with, if some other person is guilty, such person will be dealt with.
This is one of the largest organizations I have ever come in contact with.
This is our first time for joint association in partnership with one of the clusters, Advocacy for Persons with Disability, to hold the program themselves.
Ayano Paul, KBC News.
It has been a week of activities for Tower of Ivory Schools, Nigeria, as students of Tower of Ivory Schools International Academy, Airport Road, Uyo, and Tower of Ivory Schools, Edenebak, Abak local government area, were treated to a cultural day that showcased Nigeria's different cultural heritage. Aaron Paul reports on the Cultural Day events for the two campuses of the school.
It was a sight to behold as students of Tower of Ivory International Academy, Airport Road, and Tower of Ivory Secondary School, Edenebak, arrived the arena showcasing different cultural attires. It was a milieu of cultural displays, songs, and drama.
Idong from with Minademi. Abasi Bomano, a Kambaitanian, BIG Udom Udo Ekudom, retired NPM FNC OON, Mekambama Lady Dorothy Ekudo, Ifyo, Anyong Yodong Nantingo.
Describing the event as the way of enlightening the students on the different cultural heritage of Nigeria, the Chairman Board of Governors, retired DIG Udom Ekudom, emphasized the need to preserve Nigeria's rich culture, noting that the school was established to engender a paradigm shift in academic and non-academic endeavors. The chairman said that products are positioned to favorably compete with their peers.
We have seen 2 days ago the branches of Dawa School or something that came to share what we did there. That is Dawa School for you. We are at this place. Especially for pushing our school, the school for your children.
The coordinator of schools, Lady Dorothy Ekudom, thanked the parents for their confidence in the school's educational offerings and promised not to compromise on standards.
We thank you, parents. We cannot thank you enough. Always encouraging us and supporting us.
Others, including Professor Wem Itwen and Obong Sandel Mo, Mr. Netyukbong, and Mr. Udwara Kwere, spoke on the essence and importance of the commemoration.
And talking about culture, culture is an important component of child development in our environment.
Namely, point of view, Yoruba culture, Hausa Fulani culture, Igbo culture, Ibibio, Ana, Andoni, Bekwara, Ijo, and others. People within a country often have shared history and tradition.
The need of diversity of culture in Nigeria can we tap into the possibilities for nation building?
Iyageno Paul, KBC News.
The Ministry of Defense, through its steering committee on social safety network, Saturday flagged off enrollment of veterans for palliatives to mitigate the hardship occasioned by the fuel subsidy removal. The Minister of Defense, Mohammed Abubakar, represented by the Director of Joint Service Forces, Jude Alozie, stated that the initiative was to cushion the effect of the removal of petrol subsidy, promising that plans have been made to sustain the gesture. The national chairman, Nigeria Legion, Abdul Malik Jibril, acknowledged the gesture as an initiative that would ease the impact of the fuel subsidy removal and its attendant economic and social hardship on veterans, widows, orphans, and dependents of Nigeria's fallen heroes and caregivers. The Nigeria Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has arrested a 40-year-old Spanish businessman, Sherif Egbo, at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, for drug trafficking. This is contained in a statement by the Director of Media and Advocacy, Mr. Femi Babafemi and Sunday, in Abuja. Babafemi said the suspect was arrested while attempting to board an Air France flight to Paris, France, after they discovered he ingested illicit drugs after the body scanner test. Babafemi added that the suspect was subsequently placed under observation at the agency's exhibit recovery room, where he excreted 93 pellets of heroin weighing 2.222 kilograms. In the same vein, the NDLEA operative at the Nigeria Aviation Handling Company NACO import share of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, have made other seizures. Babafemi said that the operatives seized a consignment of 10 cartons containing 500,000 pills of tramadol, 225 milligrams, branded as Tapendadol, on Monday. He said that the cargo, which was shipped from India through Qatar Airways with airway bill number MAWB 31901227236, was purported to be a transit cargo to Monrovia, Liberia. And with that news, we end the news this morning. But just before we go, a quick look at the recap. Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moeno has invited delegates to the London Political Summit Award to consider the state as the preferred destination for investment and leisure, highlighting potentials that abound in Akwa Ibom State and his Arise Agenda economic blueprints. Governor Moeno expressed readiness to welcome people to invest in the states. The Akwa Ibom State government has unveiled plans to reposition the College of Education of Ahansat for improved academic performance in line with its agenda to grow the education sector. We also brought you a report that the Nigerian Senate has stressed the need to review the tax waiver policy to ensure it is aligned with the revenue mobilization drive of the government by making the waiver process more transparent and accountable. Thanks for being with us. The next news comes out at noon. Good morning.